Burnout's really common, and it doesn't just affect adults, it can affect children and teenagers too. We don't talk about it that often. So what is burnout and what does it look like?
Burnout is the result of long-term stress, and it's stress that's gone on for so long that it causes overwhelming physical, mental and emotional exhaustion. We all have day-to-day stresses, and actually stress can be really motivating to get us through exams or a really busy time in our lives. But if it goes on for too long, or if there's too much of it, it can be really damaging.
And thinking about teenagers specifically, what do you think might be some of the notable symptoms or signs that they're suffering from extreme stress or even burnout?
I think it's any difference away from their norm. You know, they're at a time where they're changing anyway.
Yeah.
So actually pinpointing what the normal can be really difficult. But a change in their sleep, a change in their eating habits, a change in the way that they have relationships, either with you or at school or even with their friends or partner or, you know, girlfriend or boyfriend, can all be really good signs that something might be amiss.
Okay, and I think particularly that relationship with their parent, you know, whilst they're at an age where they're striving for more independence often, if actually they've lost contact, they're not getting in touch at all, or say for example they've gone away to university but they're spending actually quite a lot of time at home, they could be signs as well, couldn't they, warnings that they're not coping.
Absolutely.
What do you think are some of the main causes of stress, particularly for older children and teenagers?
I think it's a difficult time to be a teenager at the moment.
I agree.
There's a lot to contend with. You know, there's these huge academic hoops of GCSEs and then A-levels and then university or further qualifications that they have to jump through. And that, you know, we talk about long-term stress, that goes on for a while. But in addition to that, I think there's fewer opportunities for them to turn off from those social pressures that are so predominant when you're a teenager. You know, whereas you or I might have been able to go home and sort of have that carved out time away from it all. I think in an age of social media and mobile phones or, you know, computers in their room, actually they're not really able to do that as much.
Yeah, and I think with social media as well comes huge expectation of themselves. They're constantly comparing themselves, and like you say, they never shut off from it. It's just a real constant thing. So how can we help young people cope then? How can parents support a young person, particularly if they think they're at risk of burnout?
I mean, it might sound obvious, but actually it's about trying to open up that conversation in a very gentle way. So rather than, you know, direct questioning, it might be about the more subtle things. I remember my dad used to take me on a drive if he thought that I was worried about something. And it would, you know, he'd be focused on the road, it wouldn't be directly looking at me, and it would just be time for me to talk and he'd listen.
Well, and that's so important. Well, one, being in the car, it takes the intensity out of it, doesn't it, rather than over the dinner table. But also I think as parents, we often go into the advice-giving mode of, you know, you tell me the problem and I will fix it for you, whereas actually sometimes it's important to just listen, really listen, let them know that we've heard and not give them advice. You know, they sometimes need to figure it out for themselves, but let you know that you're doing it together, you're with them every step of the way.
Yeah, it's about walking in their shoes, isn't it? And if you're not able to do that for whatever reason, actually, is there another trusted adult in their life who could do that as well? I think also very important to show them how important self-care is and about prioritising self-care and about working with them to create habits that hopefully can last with them for the rest of their life.
Yeah, we're still role modelling. And I think another place to have a chat is on a walk as well. You're getting some exercise, again, you take the intensity out of it, but asking them what do they need and letting them know that whatever it is, you're always there. And if that's not working and you're really worried, what's the next step?
So there's lots of support available for teenagers because I think people are aware that resources need to be really targeted to that age group. So if your child's at school, it's probably worth reaching out to the school counsellor or the head of pastoral care as well. If they're at university, you can signpost your child towards the university counselling service. If I think those haven't worked, or if you want a bit more help, then your GP is a great place to start. They're very well versed in talking to young people about these kinds of pressures and in helping them to get the help and advice that they need.